What's up? Hell of a cool weekend. The, Friday was cool, nice and chill. You know, got to see my partner when I have some fun. Saturday was the real cool part of it. So we ended up going down to San Francisco, down to the DeYoung Museum. It's, those of you who don't know, it's a little spot. It's kind of over in the same areas like the Academy of Sciences, stuff like that. The tea gardens are over there. Like, really cool stuff, really, like, beautiful part of San Francisco. Which, side note, I am officially sold on San Francisco. Every time I go there, it's an absolute blast. I would say I'm sorry I was such a hater in my youth, but I mean, that's just kind of, yeah. I was young, I was stupid, and we've talked about it before. I was holding on to, I thought I had to hate shit to be a man, so, yeah, there we go. San Francisco's been a fucking blast. But yeah, so DeYoung Museum, what they'll do is they'll have, it's an art museum, and they'll have like a bunch of different art that, like different stuff, and then they have a section that is a rotating fixture, I can't think of what the proper term is for it, but so instead of being like a static thing, they have like a rotating exhibit. That's what I'm looking for. So like they'll bring in like every few months, hey, here's a new exhibit we're showing here for a little while. And this time when we went, they had a Monet exhibit, and it was specifically centered around his trip to Venice. And when I tell you I resonated with that in a way I did not expect, because and it's cool too, and I'm sure this is going to seem really obvious to people who go to art museums all the time. I am not that person, so this was cool for me, was that they had so they did a couple things. They had like his paintings before his Venice trip, his paintings from his Venice trip, and the stuff he did after his Venice trip. And they had a whole bunch of stuff like, like this, why he took the Venice trip and why it was so important. Because had I just seen the paintings, it would have been okay, cool. Especially because they had a big thing. Is one of his big points was water lilies, and so they had showed like, oh, here's his water lilies that he was doing before Venice, and here's the water lilies after Venice. And to an untrained eye, without any context of the story, it would have been like, oh yeah, this is just his skill set's leveled up. But no, it was kind of more than that. Like, I guess what happened was he was getting frustrated because he felt like he was never getting the water lilies quite right. And then his art dealer, who, would sell his art and everything, was incredibly concerned that, hey, like, you're wanting to do another water lilies thing. It's not going to work. It's not going to sell. It's not going to be good. And the kind of subcontext was that he was getting so frustrated with the business end of the art and with his inability to just create without, just create beauty and just lose himself in the art, that he wasn't getting his context across. He wasn't getting his, he wasn't making the art he wanted to make, and he was kind of getting frustrated overall, and had proclaimed that he was done with water lilies. And the subtext I picked up, it didn't directly say it, the subtext I picked up was, I think he was kind of getting done with art. And so his wife convinces him, like, hey, let's take a 2-week trip to Venice. It's a place of beauty, it's a place of art, it's a place of culture. Let's go to Venice, let's get a little vacation and kind of get away from everything, and you can just really just immerse yourself in the beauty of the city. So they planned for 2 weeks, they stayed for 2 months, because Monet fell in love with the city. And kind of what he was doing is he would go to different spots every day and just paint the stuff he was seeing. So in the exhibit, there would be like 3 to 5 paintings of the same building. And you could kind of see where it's just like, you know, and you know, you can see it as progression. And one of the things I noticed was you could tell that like each painting he made, each time he went, it felt like there was a different focus. Because like there were times where it's like, you know, it's not ultra detailed, but like it's very vibrant and it's very you know, has a lot of just like aura and mystique, and just, you know, it oozes like a calm emotional grounding. And then there'd be another one he would do where it was hyper detailed in his impressionist style, but like, you know, very detailed, especially in the water, especially in the building features. And so it seems like, you know, sometimes he would go there and just kind of get lost in just the feeling of it and just the calmness of it. And other times he would go there and be just moved by the actual buildings and the other details themselves. It was really cool to see. And then came back from it refreshed, fell in love with the city, started doing water lilies again, made some of his best work afterwards. And I guess there was a lot of stuff from the Venice trip that he didn't finish. And the plan was for he and his wife to go back again, and his wife died. So he finished everything that he had for the Venice stuff in honor of her. And it's wild. And so, like, you know, I don't know what emotion is, like, I don't know what take I'm supposed to have. Because, like, even stuff that's highly interpretational, like, there is a narrative, there is a context, there is... The people who put this exhibit together wanted to sell you on an idea of something, on an emotion of something. And the one that I think they wanted to sell you on was Venice. How important Venice is. Because they also had stuff where they had, like, you know, other artists' interpretations of Venice as well. Like, you know, like Monet's contemporaries. And like, there was one little bit too where I'm convinced that Monet had a playful rival. I can't remember the dude's name off the top of my head because it was a little throwaway thing, but I guess this dude did hyper realistic art of Venice, like hyper detailed, and Monet had published some critique about it, like, oh, how can he call it realistic? He didn't even paint the water reflections right. And it felt very, very, like, jokingly tongue-in-cheek. I don't know if it actually was, but that's how I read it. But I think that the biggest thing that the exhibit wanted you to kind of understand was how important Venice is to art and how important Venice is to culture. And I get that, I do, and that's awesome. What I took away from it was something completely different. Because for me, what I took away from it is that this was a guy who had lost his passion for the art. Like, he spent so much time in the business side of it, spent so much time on, like, you know, I'm a professional artist and that means something, that I think he got lost in the bureaucracy. And so he had to go somewhere where he could just immerse himself in the art and just paint for the love of painting. Because, like, the Venice stuff that the Venice stuff that he was doing, he was painting it specifically as a way to remember it. So, like, he would just take his stuff, go sit down on these steps, whatever, where he's overlooking some building. I'm not even going to attempt to remember or pronounce the names. But yeah, he would just sit there and just paint. And he was just doing it for the love of painting and for the love of art and for the love of beauty. Like, you know, had to immerse himself somewhere where art is at the forefront of just the DNA of the city itself. And then came back from it renewed, came back from it with a new love and a new passion and a new understanding. And, like, that's something I can resonate with as well. Like, you know, like as a musician, there would always be the ideas of like writing music specifically for you that you're going to enjoy versus writing music that is going to appeal to a broad range of people. And I never got to this point like this, but like I had a similar experience where it's like at a certain point you kind of feel like you're losing your love for the art, you're losing your love for the music. And in my case especially, it's like I'm not enjoying it because it's, you know, the role I've had to take in making it happen is not conducive to enjoying the creation and enjoying the performing. In my case, it was that I didn't want to play guitar and sing on stage. It's not enjoyable for me, because I feel like I'm not able to just lose myself into music and just, you know, transcend. And so it's, you know, it made it where like I didn't want to play music because it's like, why am I playing it if I'm not enjoying it? And so the idea of being able to just transcend back to back to a place of just pure love for that medium, for that art, was, you know, that's the part that spoke to me. I will say too, like it was really nice being able to go to my partner does paint. She understands like the different styles of painting. She understands the technique and the brush strokes and everything. So she's looking at it with an eye that's very like understanding and critical of that. I do not come from a visual art background. I come from a musical background. So my understanding of the creation process has a very musical field. So even though I'm looking at visual art, my brain is still coded to see it in terms of you know, of musicality. And so that was really cool too, as we went through a lot of different paintings and a lot of different stuff, like, you know, just being able to really experience that and like try to understand the art and like the purpose of it. So it was so much fun. It was cool. Like, you know, and I love that, like, when my partner and I were able to go, and like, you know, she got to explain a lot of stuff to me, and I got to sit there and really like try to interpret these paintings and like this art, and it, you know, it was a cool experience. It was a lot of fun. And then also like we finished up with that, and the like the subtle backdropping on the backdrop, like the bee thread, the beeline story, was that my partner's grandma was doing stuff in the city as well. So on our way out, we dropped her off at another family member's house in Benicia so they could all ride together. And then when we finished up, we linked back up with them at an apartment in San Francisco of another family members, you know, and that was a lot of fun. That was cool. Like, it was tiny, like hilariously small apartment, but it was still really cool, still really fun. And like, the thing that was really cool is that like the view is like a 5th floor view, you know, looks over this part of the park, and then you can go up on the roof, and it's just gorgeous views of the city. And that was kind of the point up there where I was like, oh, I actually like this place. This is a lot of fun. And so we were talking about, like, you know, with our family members, they're like, oh, you guys should move to San Francisco. We're like, I don't know. And like the biggest problem we would have moving to San Francisco is that both of us would have to get new jobs, because both of us work jobs that physically require us to be on location in our areas, in Fairfield, and then Fairfield for her, Solano County, Napa County for me. And neither of us is going to want to have to sit there and commute from San Francisco up and back. Like, you're supposed to do it the other way around. You're supposed to live in Vacaville and commute to San Francisco for the higher pay work. And it was one of those things where it's like, if we were going to do something like that, she would have to find a new job. And, like, she might be able to get, like, link up with another job in the city. Like, you know, like it's possible her company has another branch out there. I don't know. But definitely there's other people in her field. There's other places in her field that she could possibly link up with. For me, though, because I'm a service plumber, I do not want to do plumbing in the city. The little bit I've seen and the little bit I understand the code, it's nightmare fuel. Like, I would not want to do it. Like, hats off to the guys who do. You guys are dope. So, like, I would have to completely new field, completely new everything, which I'm not against, but it's going to be really hard to find something else to do in the city that's going to pay enough for us to live in the city. So I think that's a pipe dream. But it would be cool, though, because there's so much art, there's so much culture, there's so much beauty there, and yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's really cool. Yeah, so I mean, it was like, we're definitely looking forward to the next, like, whatever the next installation is going to be at the DeYoung. Like, that would be a lot of fun. And then, like, that further just continues our thing of, like, how fun it is to go and do stuff like that. Like, I think we need to make another trip back out to the one in Sacramento. We had gone there for Valentine's Day, but we got there so late that we only really went to, like, one of the 3 floors that they had there. So it'd be really nice to be able to go back and do the rest of that. We had to, like, start earlier. And then, yeah, like, it's just, you know, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And I officially like San Francisco. I'm over it. I'm over hating it. I don't know if I'm ready to accept San Francisco teams yet. But, yeah. Yesterday was a day of me going, you know what, I'm actually okay with this with a lot of things. And my partner is very excited about that. She's giddy with herself about it, so yeah, that's good. Yeah, I don't know, that's all I got. Get at it today. But yeah, if you ever get a chance, go to the museum. And if you're somebody who's like, oh, I don't know if I would be into it, take a couple edibles and then go. Because, like, once you just shut your, once you shut your stupidity off and just allow your brain to just open up and exist in the art, it's wild. It's so much fun. Yeah, that's all I got. Anything else? Nope, that's all I got.